Rango is the best movie of all time. Rango is so good. Oh my god. Oh my god, Rango. Rango. Daddy. Lizard Dad. This topic has been covered way more than a handful of times. Just type in Rango to your YouTube search bar. It'll pull up like 30 results of the exact same fucking thing. And that doesn't dissuade me in the slightest. Because who doesn't want to talk about a multifaceted chameleon who has issues blending in? Oh, baby, that's ironic. Honey, that's relatable. And it's most certainly not new ground. So, lace up those Brahma steel toes and pack yourself some Astrogel, because after we're done kicking this dead horse, we're gonna end up fucking it. The movie opens up with our protagonist setting the scene for a play he's about to perform. There's a myriad of different objects beside him, each playing a supporting role to his main character role. As the scene is progressing, Rango abruptly stops the play to criticize each object's performance. He calls Victor's wooden, because Victor's a fucking plastic tree. And then he pretends, and this is more of like a message he's conveying to himself, that his character is undefined. And then he bridges it from his character that he was playing in the play to his actual self. He tells himself that the stage is set, the people are waiting, and he could be anything. He just has to be something. He could be a sea captain, he could be an anthropologist, or he could be a suave, sexy man. And it is in this moment where he's trying to rizz up the torso and arm of a Barbie doll, where he realizes that a character isn't defined simply by being. A character is defined through conflicting circumstances that they have to overcome. And he says, he just says this.
The hero cannot exist in a vacuum. What our story needs is an ironic, unexpected event that will propel the hero into conflict.
He goes over to the center of the road, and he sees the aftermath of a split decision. Rango looks in the middle of the road after he crashed, and he sees an armadillo split in half. He goes up to him, starts a conversation. He's like, dude, I don't belong here. I'm on my last layer of skin. I need water. And then the armadillo guy, he's like, to find water, you must find dirt. On the way to the town of Dirt, Rango finds a random dude in the middle of the desert, and then a hawk, and he tries to blend in, but he can't, and the hawk ends up killing the guy who was trying to tell him to hide, and then Rango keeps on going. The scene isn't really that important. Like, Hawk comes back later, but the scene's not important. So after his encounter with the hawk, he's still making his way towards Dirt. Night is approaching, and he falls asleep in an empty storm drain, just really cold. He proceeds to have an existential dream about a giant Mr. Tims that just asks him in this empty void of nothing, "Where are your friends now, amigo?" And then he wakes up, discovers that he's drowning, and he's flung out of the storm drain by the water at the feet of some random lady with a gun pointed at him. So this is where the movie really starts to get interesting. So after talking to the character who we're introduced to as Beans, we discover that she's kind of unstable, has some daddy issues, and she tends to physically freeze from time to time. And as he's making his way through town, he remembers to blend in, and he starts emulating the people across town. And then that is when he walks into the bar. And I just have to play this scene for you.
I'd like a glass of water.
He wants a glass of water! Make it a double! Give us the two! Cactus juice. That's what we got.
Hey there, Fruit Cup. You're a long ways from home, ain't ya? Who exactly are you?
Who am I? I could be anyone.
What's the matter? You missing your mommy's mangoes?
As a matter of fact, I am. But not as much as your daddy's cooking!
Exactly. Where did you say you're from?
Me? I'm from the west. Out there, beyond the horizon. Past the sunset. The far west. Yeah, that's right, hombres. Place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to work up an appetite. Then we salt him. Then we pepper him. Then we braise him in clarified butter. And then we eat him.
You eat them?
That's what I said! Hell, I seen things make a grown man lose control of his glandular function. You spend 3 days in a horse carcass living off your own juices. It'll change a man. Oh, yeah. Got a few extra aces in this deck, gents. Just the way I like it. So no, my hirsute little rodent friend, I am not from around these parts. You might say I'm from everywhere there's trouble brewing and hell waiting to be raised. You might say I'm what hell's already raised up. Name's Rango.
I gotta confess, that one scene is my favorite scene in the entire movie. But the sole purpose of this video isn't to recap the movie in its entirety, it's to analyze it. So, let's stop with the recap. You guys know about as much as you need to. And let's just analyze this. What do we know? We know that he doesn't have any prior established identity. We know that he yearns for one, and he's willing to do anything to make that happen. So Rango doesn't just yearn to be somebody, he wants to be the one. He wants to be the hero. We kind of foreshadowed this in the beginning whenever we're looking at his play, and he's establishing himself as the main character with a series of supporting characters. But because he doesn't have his own set identity yet, he resorts to just creating one on the fly. And he's able to completely get down the cadence, the accent, the walk, everything he needs to know about the culture of this small, tightly knit community down just by looking at 3 people. So despite not being very familiar with social situations, we can see that he was isolated, and we can just assume that he's been isolated for a while. Despite that, he's extremely socially adept. But what does this say about the characters he interacts with? Well, each character that is shown throughout this town is unique and dynamic. They have their own style of walking, their own style of talking, they have their own clothes. Beans has her own backstory that is briefly touched upon in that opening scene where she meets Rango, where her dad is a drunk who fell down some mine shaft somewhere. It seems like there is an actual story separate from what we, the audience, can observe that is perpetually going on throughout the town. Almost as if this world isn't just for the movie. It's like this world operates independently of us. Being thrust in an unfamiliar environment while committing yourself to actions that will produce tangible results, and doing all of this while operating under a distinct lack of identity, is something that everybody can relate to. It's day-to-day life for everybody everywhere. And that's why in the beginning of this movie, Rango doesn't have an identity. He doesn't even have the name Rango. Because it gives us extra time to empathize and relate with him. Because we're seeing the journey of someone become something. And that is why whenever we see Rango lie about his origins, or he does weird ass shit, we're not like, damn, this guy's doing shit that he shouldn't be doing. We're more like, damn, that's kind of impressive that he's committing himself to that. Because whenever we see the evolution of Rango go from zero to hero, any way that he's able to attain that, that makes us root for him. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for sticking through me all this way. I know your time is valuable, and I'm glad and honored to just entertain you for that little bit. If you could, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. That's the best way to get me reached out to more people, and that's the best incentive for me to keep doing things like this. So if you did enjoy, or even if you didn't enjoy, shoot me down a comment below. Give me some criticism, and if you did like it, yeah,